Mr. President, President Tinubu has said in his Hope agenda what he intends to do. And in part of that, he has said, look, the three arms of government are independent, but must work cooperatively for the interests of the country. I'm working under President Tinubu. I was appointed by Mr. President to oversee the affairs of the Federal Capital Territory. I have no legislature of my own. The legislature is the National Assembly. Mr. President presents the budget of the FCT to the National Assembly. Therefore, I am an implementer of Mr. President's policies of what he intends to do. And Mr. President comes up with a laudable, which no president in this country had done. I said, listen, we have been talking about independence of the judiciary. How do you guarantee the independence of the judiciary? Part of what he did, one, he came on board and said, look, there should be this. In terms of uniformity of retirement of age. Before, it used to be Supreme Court and Court of Appeal 70 years. Now, he has made it to without every judge from the State High Court, Federal High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, retired at the age of 70. You move further, it's okay. Salaries, emoluments of judges and justices. No president had had that boost step. For how many years in this country, judges and justices' salaries and emoluments have not been increased? What do they earn? At the end of the day, you go home and say, look, if you really want to talk about independence of judiciary, you must make it in such a way that they cannot be influenced or politically manipulated. Their salaries should be increased. Even as they retire, they collect them as the same way. In that case, you are trying to remove them from political manipulation. He did that. The next is welfare. Where are the judges living? They have no home. Therefore, it's open for political manipulation. And for me, as a president who wants to guarantee the independence of the judiciary, judges must have their homes. I'm not Mr. President. I'm only lucky to be appointed as a minister under his administration, and who is in a position to implement his policies. And Mr. President said, look, this is what he wants. Come up and see what we can do. It was approved by Mr. President, sent to the National Assembly in 2024 budget that there should be construction of judges and justices' quarters. That they must remove judges from where they are renting houses. They don't even know where they are living. Where they are living among criminals. We're renting houses where the landlord will say, look, you have not paid. Leave. It's embarrassing. A policy anybody should commend Mr. President. It is in the National Assembly budget of 2024, appropriated by the National Assembly, assented to by Mr. President, which is a law. What is the problem? I'm only the implementer. Go and implement this. Federal Executive Council of Nigeria approved it, the contract and everything. It is not my policy. How would you now want to kill me? That I'm implementing what the federal government approved. I mean, I've never seen a country like this. But let me also explain. Assuming do not concede, it was my policy. It was my idea. Assuming do not concede. What is wrong in that? I was a governor of Rivers State. For the first time, no governor in the state ever thought of that idea. To say, look, we must have what we call owner occupier. Let the judges have where they can say, today I'm retiring, I have a home. You cannot influence me. Home is very, very important. I did not only do that for judges, also for Rivers State judges and justices who are not serving in Rivers State, but also serving at the federal government level, be it in Supreme Court, be it in Court of Appeal, be it in Industrial Court, and Federal High Court. Nobody said, I did that to buy judges. Just because I'm in Abuja, and you remember, it was President Tinubu when he was governor of Lagos State that introduced these owner-occupied houses in Lagos for Judiciary. He was one. It was a policy. Before I copied from what he did in Lagos to establish in Port Harcourt. But again, all those houses I built for judges, how do I own them now? How do I own the judges now? Had there not been a series of orders against us, against me? Now, let us also say, that is why in our country, instead of people to commend you, particularly from the legal profession, to commend you that, look, for the first time we are seeing a government who now talks about the independence of the judiciary. How would they attain their independence? You allow people who have no job, who are professors online. I never knew there are professors online. This is my first time that professors are appointed online, without university. And when they talk, now just listen and say that, oh, there's also a professor that spoke. Who is this professor? Which university? How was he appointed? How was he made a professor? So it's unfortunate. So I want to say clearly, the idea is not mine. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not the president of Nigeria. It's the Federal Executive Council, presided by Mr. President, deputed by Mr. Vice President, and approved.
All right.
And I have to implement what Mr. President policies are.
Okay.
Now let me tell you, I saw one young man, they call him Adeyanju, from Kogi State. He's also part of civil society. This was a young boy who came to me, that he went to deputy, he went to National Publicity Secretary of PDP. I said no. Yes, I said no. Yes, I said won't be, and it was not. Yes, I have no regret about it. Then suddenly became a civil society activist. What kind of country are we in? Then you see him to go to a place to say, Wike, you are grabbing La Uruga. This is the kind of civil society you are talking about. People who have no job. You turn to civil society. Now, those who say that the governors should not. You mean as I am, as a governor of a state, Take for example as FCT, for example. When I was governor,
yes.
Then took as a minister of FCT. The courts are down. You go to the Federal High Court. The cases they preside, the Minister of Justice, for whose interest? Businessmen and residents of where? River State. It's not correct. It's not correct.
Certainly.
It's not correct. I'm a governor of what? I'm a governor of River State. To make businesses to move on. To make residents to be happy. To have good governance. And they have no access to justice. Now I should fold my arms and say, oh, until federal government comes to make sure that the Federal High Court as the River State is good enough for the judges to administer justice for the interest of the people of the state. As the governor of River State, that you know, by its own position in the South-South, is the hub of the South-South. There's no industrial court. And the industrial court was in Bayelsa. 80% of the cases in Bayelsa State industrial court from Rivers. And then I see my people moving to Bayelsa State for industrial matters. And I said, what? As a governor, I can't talk to the president of the industrial court. Listen, no. I'm ready to provide industrial court here. I don't want my people to be going to Bayelsa State. So that is the way to guide industrial court. Now listen, those who say so, MBA, both state at the national level, the court was locked. MBA was sitting in the premises of the River State High Court. When the government of River State then locked up the court, MBA had no access to their secretariat. As a governor, I said, no, we won't allow this. I built the secretariat of MBA. That is also to buy MBA. At the national level, as a lawyer, as a governor, MBA wrote to us, who are governors, who are lawyers then? How do you support us? Your own profession to grow. I beat my chest as a lawyer, who are then a governor. I was the only person who supported MBA to have a befitting secretariat. That also means you want to buy MBA. As a governor, the body of benchers, those of us who are lawyers, who are governors, we're tired of this federal government budget of the MBA, of the body of benchers building.
Speaking of leadership, sir, your party's presidential candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
No, there are no presidential candidate, there are former.
Okay, for your party's former presidential candidate, I beg your pardon. Yeah, the 2023 presidential candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, you know, he's been in the news lately criticizing the policies of this current administration, President Bola Tinubu's administration. And he is even suggesting that, you know, his own economic blueprint, if implemented, would have made Nigeria now a better place. But no, I've not gotten to my question.
He presented it to Nigerians.
No, but what he is now saying is that he's presenting himself as a better alternative, of course, ahead of 2027 presidential election.
Let me ask you one question. Did he not present this to Nigerians? Did Nigeria choose him? No.
But there will be another chance.
It doesn't matter. You're lobbying for that, the chance won't be there. Which will party? At what age?
So PDP will reject his candidacy.
I can who is one man for how many years? I can't even be talking like this. Now let me also tell you how you know how people look at in America. It's not correct. I'm sure of you were opposed to Trump. I'm sure. Oh, he's this. He's a racist. He's this. He's that. I agree. What did the Americans do? What did they do?
Just their own.
We are here crying, bothering ourselves. Americans are thinking of something else, different, for their own country, for the good of their own country. Made a decision. You have presented your blueprint in 2023. Nigerians had you clear. Say, well, thank you for this your blueprint. It will not work. We will not support you. What do you expect him to say? Not to stick or not to criticize the government. Criticism does not mean that opposition is serious. If you people criticize for criticizing's sake, not that you are working for it. Trump was not in government. He wants to come back to government. They went down to work with the Republicans. Listen, we want to take over government. What do? We have to be serious. There are some barriers that we have to unite and make sure we take over government. And look at the result today. Unity. But people cannot just be ordinarily, you want to sideline this person, oh, this person's one is too much, we'll deal with this.
If you could speak a little further on that narrative that Labour, because I read the press release as well, and it has to do with that Federal High Court judgment stopping release of allocation to Rivers.
Okay.
But some of the narrative out there is that, I mean, when people say judgment must not just be done, but must be seen to have been done.
Yes.
Some of the people who see it say, but wait a minute, if this judgment stands like this, you're going to strangulate an arm of government.
I like that. I like that. I like that. See the angle came. Very good. They want to strangulate. Now, the court said, Haba, we're a constitutional democracy. You want us to sit here for you to use 3-4 people to pass budget for you in a constitutional democracy of 32 seats. The court said, listen, even when this matter was before us, and the court gave judgment, no, you can't do this. We said, don't do this. He went ahead. With 3-4 people, there were 4. One had reduced. Now it's 3. Tomorrow it can be 2. The next day can be 1. You want to set a precedent. I have no problem about it. And the court says, you don't do it. You went on appeal to the Court of Appeal. You went on appeal to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal affirmed the judgment of the Federal High Court. So look, this is a joke taken too far. How can you continue with this in a democracy in Nigeria? Forget about how anybody will play sentiment. Law does not know emotion. Law does not know sentiment about it. What are the facts? What is the law? It may not favor you. It may not favor me. But let the law be what is applied. And let us move this sentiment, oh, you know, it will do this. So what you are happy is that 3 people should continue to pass budget of a state. In that case, we were very comfortable. No, tell me, anybody bring in, say, look, even on moral grounds, Mr. President, I appeal to you, you agreed. Go and resend your budget. He said, no, you won't do that. What you agreed? Okay, you won't do, Mr. President, no problem. Now, court gave judgment. Court of Appeal affirmed the judgment. Now, the assembly went to court to say, listen, by the provisions of the Constitution, you cannot continue to draw from the consolidated revenue when you have no appropriation. Therefore, until you present your budget, you can't continue to spend money. And then you are bringing sentiment, or you know, people will suffer. Who is suffering? The people. Is it the man that refusing to send his appropriation to the assembly, or the assembly who is saying, look, let the right thing be done. We are here representing the people to appropriate for you to spend. And then you are turning it the right way because you go and give money to civil society. You go and give money to somebody who says a labor somewhere will not agree. It's anti-labor. You think only you can put down the country? You think only you can put down the state? Nobody has that capacity. No, you are wrong. Certainly wrong.